they are very good, no, excellent in their performance of risk management process in their organization. Okay, so why risk management is important for organization? So according to ISO, so the uh, international standard for uh, for organizations, no, ISO 31000 is risk management. So according to them, the long-term success of an organization relies on many things, from continually assessing and updating their offering to optimizing their processes. So this is of course talking about risk management. And if this weren't enough of a challenge, they also need to account for the unexpected in managing risk. That's why we've developed ISO 31000 for risk management according to ISO. So at the end of this lecture, you just have to email us, no, Christelle. We will give you a copy of this ISO 31000 risk management to be your guide, no, in the conduct of your risk management process of your organization. Okay. So risk, no, according to some, has a negative connotation, di ba? Uh, uh, as we mentioned, this is uncertain, no? Event, meaning you are not certain, di ba? Hindi ka sigurado, okay, of the situation that it will occur or it will not occur. But of course, you are an agency, you are an organization, and you have to what? To anticipate. You need to have corrective actions, no? Corrective actions or solutions that when this risk will come to your agency or organization or project, you can arrest it already, no? Meron ka ng sistema na naka-in place sa project mo. So, risk management objective, of course, increase the probability and impact of possible positive events, no? Or decrease the probability of impacts of negative events. Now, here, as project manager, sabi ko nga, we have a negative connotation. But of course, when we say risk, there are also opportunity or positive impact, not only negative. So we will discuss that later on. Okay. So there are these are the terms and concept of risk. No? So sinasabi nga natin, uncertainty. You are not certain, okay, or what will come to your project. Di mo alam. So, risk averse. So these are the terminologies. So risk averse, example of that, no? But we will define that more later on. The example of risk averse is that, di ba, meron kang investment sa bangko pag pumunta kayo. Sabi mo dun sa bangko, gusto ko ito lang. No, the banko presented you high risk. No, ibig sabihin ng high risk, when we invest your money to, when we invest yung banko, mag-invest ng pera mo, ito yung percent increase ng pera mo. Malaki, but ang baba nito is hindi mo din maaasahan. So malaki rin yung baba. Malaki yung increase, malaki rin yung baba. So yung discussions nila sa iyo. Now, risk averse is sabi mo sa banko, ito lang yung gusto ko, minimum risk lang or no risk at all, no? Kasi sigurista ka eh. So that's risk averse, no? Then risk tolerances and risk threshold. Okay? So here, this presentation is just like of course, anticipation of risk. When you venture into the project, there are a lot of unknowns. That's why you are studying risk management, right? So at the beginning, at the onset of the project, there are a lot of unknowns. So that's why, what is a strategy? You conduct what feasibility study. You conduct when the project is okay or not. You stop the project. If it's okay, there are a lot of things to do. No, you do your, of course, your land acquisition. After your land acquisition, you conduct your pre-planning, no, your pre-design stage. There are a lot of risks, no. May it be financial risk, may it be legal compliance, may it be construction, no. You anticipate the construction implementation, and there and of course a lot. Then you will convert that into cost if the project is viable, no? So pros and cons. Then you execute the project. Okay. There comes the outcome of the project, meaning the result of the project. So the result of the project, there are a lot also of risks, no? May the project be favorable or unfavorable. Okay, so favorable means will the people accept your product or your services. So that's an opportunity for your project or for your business to grow if it's an opportunity. But if there are a lot of unfavorable situations or risk that will come to your way, so that is a problem. Okay. So again, do not be what do you call this? Do not be sad, no, because we're studying, of course, risk management and all of these risks shall be, of course, there are a lot of corrective actions to be done for that. All right. So, in this figure, have you heard about the triple constraint, right? So in project management, usually or generic, it is always said that, no, by the that as a project manager, the risk or the triple constraint of the project is time, cost, and scope, right? But we will expand this in terms of risk and in terms of benefit and in terms of quality. So it's an isosceles triangle because all sides of this should be equal. And when you something will happen to time, there will be what? There will be risk. Something happened to scope or scope creep, there will be risk, no? There will be quality issues, and the benefit will be lessened in terms of cost naman, no? If there are a lot of scope creep, what will happen to the cost? It will increase. So that's risk also. So as project manager, what you will do? You need to avoid scope creep. And there are a lot of strategy that you will do. Of course, that is part of scope management already. But based on our experience, what you should do, of course, you will always conduct what? Plan review, no? So the absence of plan review will result to possible risk, no? And a lot of benefit will be used and quality will also suffer. Okay? So it's a holistic approach of the project manager. All right? Always consider risk management in all of your undertaking right now, no? Right now. Okay? You need to have classify the risk, and hindi naman yan masama, no? That is a good competence of a project manager if we always, or even if you are still a neophyte engineer or a project engineer, okay, you still consider risk management as part of your decisions, once you are asked by your project manager no what will be your recommendation. So there are possibilities of risks, sir, that will happen in our project. So hindi naman yan negative. Why? Because you are working in a project, no? You know what? There's no perfect project. There are a lot of issues and concerns. There are a lot of risks that will happen along the way, even in business, no? Even in business, and you can use risk management also at the personal level, right? Okay. So next is uh again, what will happen, no, if there are risks in your project? If you don't anticipate a risk in your project, what will happen? There will be scope creep, no, or change order or variation order that will cost you overrun your cost above budget. Possibility, of course, there are a lot of delays, no, construction delays. Okay, and of course, poor quality. Poor quality, delays, cost overruns are a risk in your project. How to prevent this? How to prevent poor quality? Of course, you need to establish your quality management system. How to prevent delays in your project? So as a construction manager or project manager, it is often said, no, as part of the procedure or part of the standard, you always require, or as a contractor, you will always prepare a look ahead plan or anticipate the construction activities. But if you are delayed, you should prepare immediately the correction plan. All right. If you, in the perspective of the construction management, you always tell the contractor, no, to submit or require the contractor the look-ahead plan and the catch-up plan. In the absence of that, what will happen? So, mabibigla na lang kayo, malaki na yung delay ng project. So, it's all in the quality management system, in the process. In the absence of quality management system or project process or systems and procedures in your project, there will be a lot of risks that will happen. Now, the question is your project has an established project systems and procedures related to risk? If the answer is no, it's now the time. No, it's now the time to establish a project systems and procedures related to related to risk or in anticipation of risk. Okay. All right. So that's it. No. Now risk, the fallout of not addressing risk. Ito na yung sinasabi natin. Kung if you are not if your project hasn't yet the project system and procedures related to risk. All right. So not every project goes according to plan, of course. Diba? So take a moment to examine the following these images and then think about what could have been done to anticipate and even avoid the outcomes that are evident in this picture. Okay. So risk can be avoided. Risk can be avoided. Can be if not avoided, can be responded. But of course, as project manager, we need to anticipate. We need to be agile, right? Agile means we need to anticipate the possible scenario or situations of the project that will come along our way in a negative perspective, right? Kasi kung negative ang perception natin sa project or situations that will come our project, we can arrest already kung merong mga risk or issues and concerns na mangyayari sa project natin, di ba? So in your observations, what are the things that you have done, right? So traditional, what you're right? So traditional, what are traditional strategy? Traditional strategy is that you are not anticipating risk, you are waiting risk, and when the risk comes, the project, saka kayo mag-respond. So what will happen? Okay, the project may consider, the project may experience cost overrun. The project may experience delay. All right? So, tsaka ka magre-respond. So that's not agile. That's not project management 4.0. Okay? Because we are taught that project 4.0 is we need to collaborate with everyone and anticipate possible risks that will happen in our project. So, in effect, that will become the fallout of your project because you are not addressing risk on time. Not addressing risk or anticipating risk. Okay. So these are example of projects all over the world that in terms of risk management. So let's say, for example, this Olympic stadium in Greece in 2016. No, in 2004 there was an Olympic held in Greece, Athens. Then of course they're going to construct this stadium. Okay, so the stadium was constructed only for Olympic, but after the Olympic, what's next? So ito nangyari sa stadium nila, wala na. So how much ang cost nito when this was constructed in anticipation of the 2004 Olympics? Of course, $1 million or even $1 billion. What will happen next? So there's no risk management, no? Wala lang. Pagkatapos ng Olympic, all right, iniwan, tapos na yung Olympics, sayang yung pera. No? Siguro marami silang pera. But then again, we are talking of risk management. Sana ginawa, no? I mean, after the Olympics, ni-utilize pa. May be ng government, no? May be used for the university for their sports, no? Olympics, just like us here in the Philippines, no? Marami tayong stadium and it is used by universities, okay? So no plans after the Olympics. Therefore, no one benefited from this. So wag natin gawin yan, ha? This is because of what? The absence of risk management. Another thing is the ano po? Hindi ko makita. Infinity Tower, no, sa Dubai Marina United Arab Emirates 2007. So kung nasa Dubai na kayo noong 2007, you have heard this news, or if you're in the project, you have had experienced this. So the cofferdam collapse, all right? So dito sa if you're facing, like, yeah, of course we are facing the picture. So dito sa bandang left side, nag-collapse ang cofferdam. Pag nag-collapse, dito kasi yung building. So in a matter of what, 4 minutes na punuan yung building. So the construction halted for how many years? Halted for how many years? For 1 year, no? And a half. Hanggang 2008, mid of 2008 ito, no? Na stop yung project, because of course they need to they need to dewater the project. So 1.5 year yun, and of course they need to repair the cofferdam, and after 5 years the project has been completed. So again, risk management is very important, not only in the project execution, no, but all the structures in place in your project. Lahat ng mga construction activities involved, whether complete or not complete, there should be risk management. So, tama ba yung paggagawa? Tama ba yung design nito? Alright, so in the absence of, maybe the design is good, but the constructability may be poor. That's why ito nangyari. So, again, risk management is lacking, okay? Now here, another in the, ano naman to? In Skagit Bridge, Washington, United States of America in 2013, the bridge collapsed. All right? So, of course, sinisisihin dito, of course, the project manager, no? Ng kliyente, ng government. Okay? There will be investigations, a lot of investigations. All right? A lot of, not only the project managers, but the government authority, no, in terms of, let's say, permits, issuance of permits, issuance of approval of plans and specifications, etc., etc., etc. So there will be risk management involved kasi nag-collapse na. So investigation will result to this and to that. Until such time, it was found out that the absence of risk management in terms of design, in terms of construction implementation, in terms of project control and monitoring. Oh, so yun, no? Kaya nang collapse ang bridge, no? Right? And of course, not only this picture, but we can have experienced this right now in our project. Think of it. Think of your project. All of your projects are delayed. So there's a risk, right? Oh, when you go back after this lecture to the lecture again, you are already good in preparing risk register, excellent in identifying risk, and excellent in um, formulating risk response, and excellent again, or super excellent in formulating corrective actions. Now go back. When you go back to your project, you can be a good risk manager. Okay, so that's it. So again, go back to ISO 31 standard, no, as we discussed kanina. So this is just a guide, no, prepared or produced by ISO, and as I said, we can give this to you. You just have to email us, and if your organization, even if not, no, uh, is thinking of having a quality management system as a requirement also of a quality management system, there is a requirement of risk management. So you can use this. You can have study the principles, the frame, although the principles is more of attuned to the quality management system. The principles of risk management and quality management is almost similar. Okay, you can create a framework and a process for managing risk. Although project management or PMBOK guide as our guide, as our reference in this lecture, can give us a bird's eye view on how to conduct risk management. Okay, then As a result, the output should help your organization increase the likelihood of achieving your project objectives. So what is your project objectives? Of course, think of this. The project objectives is that you need to deliver the project in time, in quality, and in cost. All right, so that's it, no? The triple constraint: cost, quality, no, and time, on the timely completion of the project. Then you have to, of course, improve the identification of opportunities and threat. Use your SWOT strategy, diba? If you're familiar with SWOT, you can identify the opportunities and threats of your projects. All right. Effectively allocate and use resources for risk treatment or risk response. If the risk response needs a lot of funding, then you can have it budgeted already. Let's say, for example, if the risk is in terms of quality, let's say, for example, na mislook yung isang design, no? Na mislook ang isang design in terms of, o na mislook ang design, o hindi na check ng masyado, then collapse ang slab. All right? So again, there must be an anticipation of that. So meron kang budget na mag-collapse yung slab, no? But this is just an example. Hindi naman sana mangyari na ganun. Okay? But example, meron kang budget allotted. Commonly, nangyayari yung risk, let's say, for example, in property lines of your fences, di ba? There are projects that you have experienced na nangyayari. For example, hindi na-check yung property line, then nag-construct kayo ng fence outside the property line. So when checked by the proponent, wala pala sa property line. So that's another thing na sino magbabayad, di ba? So it must be anticipated by the contractor. So meron kang budget for that, no? As a part of your risk. And of course, hindi naman mangyayari yan. So this is just an example. All right? Or effectively allocate and use resources for risk treatment or risk responses. As I mentioned, your funding, provide guidance for internal or external audit programs. So the standard, no, is not for certification, but this is a guide. Ha? Tandaan natin na not all ISO na may code is for certifications. There are standards na for guide. Guide siya to make it a support sa magiging ISO certificate. Let's say, for example, if you are a quality management, your organization is aiming for quality management system. That is ISO what? 20, what is that ISO? Huh? 9001, 2015? Or what? 9004? Ano yun? Sandali ah. Nakalimutan ko. For quality management, you are aiming for quality management system. Who knows?
9001 po.
Oh, 9001, 2015. You are aiming for quality management system. Okay? So what you will do? So as a guide, this is a clear guide if you are preparing for your risk management process. So use this ISO 31000 standard, okay, as your guide. So ISO also for quality management system has a guide, no, has a guide also. I don't know of the code, but it has a guide, okay, quality management system. All right. So provide sound principles for effective management and corporate governance. So that's the purpose of this standard. Okay. So far, you have questions or something like a gray area in your mind relative to risk management that you have experienced in your project, and you just need to clarify or something. Just give a chat or raise your hand. May chat box dyan. You can write or type, no, for our participants. Okay. So this is a presentation of what really is risk versus funding in your project in terms of the project life cycle. Project life cycle meaning from start to finish of the project. Now, what is the effect? What is the efficiency of risk versus funding. So during in this presentation, no, you can see there are arrows pointing above, meaning increasing risk, and the other is on the other side, on the right side, is pointing for what dollars or peso value. So what does it mean? No, during the conceptual phase of your project, as I mentioned kanina, di ba? No, there are a lot of opportunity and risk. All right. That's why if you are a owner, a developer, or a project, you're aiming for a project to be or a business for that matter, not only for project but business. So you need to consider what the concept states the opportunity and risk of it. So as I mentioned, you conduct what feasibility study, feasibility study in terms of your financial risk, in terms of your political risk, in terms of what your social risk, in terms of your technology risk. So there are a lot of things that you need to do, right? So you weigh, you convert that into cost. May it be an opportunity or maybe a risk, a negative risk that will stop your project, no? Or if it's an opportunity, yes, viable for my business. Pag tinayo kong business ko dito, in a matter of year, kuha ko na yung gastos ko. All right? So that is, and during that stage, the concept wala pa namang gastos dyan eh. Diba? Magkano lang yung feasibility study. If you are excellent in doing your feasibility study to zero cost. If you require a consultant, that's how much, right? All right. So after that, okay, development phase. You say, for example, you see, okay, go tayo sa project natin. So you development phase. So meron ng cost kasi you will need to hire consultants, no? You need to conduct your what pre-engineering in design. You need to conduct your soil investigation, your water study, your flood study, what else, and any other study that need for your project, no? But of course, there are a lot of risk pa dyan, no? Medyo mataas pa ang risk dyan. Let's say, for example, if you're conducting a land relo topo of your project. So ano yan? Ano yung risk? Ano yung risk? Ang risk dyan is that what? Kasi kaya siya madami pa. Meron pang mga encroachment dyan. Meron kang maraming bahay na tatamaan, no? Lalo na sa government, no? If they are expanding for the road expansion, di ba? So maraming tatamaan ng encroachment. Ilang bahay yan. So medyo mataas, no? Alright, mataas ang risk probability dyan. But the cost, no? Unti-unti siyang tumataas yung cost. Now comes na mag-implement ka na. You settle all of it na. So implementation stage na tayo. So during execution, you're given your for construction drawing and specification. Then, of course, hindi ka na pag-conduct ng plan review. Alright? So maraming risk. Tama? You experience that in one maybe or two of your project na marami na ngayong clashes na nangyayari sa project, no? The project is delayed, clashes between what? Mechanical, electrical, structural, because in the absence of plan review, plus the contractor is delayed, right? So the opportunity, so the risk, no? The risk is in the construction stage na, and the amount pataas na siya, no? Pataas na dahil nag-implement ka na eh. Alright? So yun na yung sinasabi nyo kanina na what? You need to augment the contractor. That's the solution. You need to take over the project. Alright? And there are premiums. There are remaining works cost na budgeted na. But of course, there are premiums for the takeover, for the augmentations, no? Because it's a new contractor. Now come your closeout phase. Now the funding, why? Tanong kayo, bakit sir yung funding pataas yung ano niya, no? Tapos yung risk pababa. Kasi halimbawa nag-collapse yan, no? Paano ngayon yan? So repair, di ba? So malaki ang gastos, konti yung risk, pero pag may risk, malaki ang gastos. Alright? Period of highest risk impact kasi nasa execution ka at saka nasa close in between. And you have experienced some of this, right? May mga project, maybe kayo, na naka-experience kayo ng ganyan. Yes, sasabihin mo, yes sir, meron kami yan. Ganyan na ganyan ang nangyayari. Alright? So, this is the probability of risk, no? And risk probability and impact of risk versus amount in terms of peso that we have been experiencing in our project, and maybe you're about to experience kung hindi nyo pa na-experience. So, can we mitigate the risk? Yes, can we mitigate the risk? Okay. So risk can be integrated as well, no? With other project management function or knowledge areas. So it can be integrated with your scope, no? Uh, there are risks in scope. If scope is not properly identified, there will be possibilities of risk. And what are the risks? Scope creep, change orders, variation order, all right? Or change shop drawings. So that's why what's the answer? Conduct regular plan review. So that's the actions that you will do, no? Or uh, communications, properly communicate. There will be proper communications, so proper channels, all right? All right. Then, of course, in terms of quality. So in terms of quality, you have experience. Now there are a lot of possible punch lists during turnover, possible repair due to lack of, due to poor quality, workmanship quality of the contractor. So that's a risk. So what will you do? No? How to address that? In terms of time, of course, the most common is delay, diba? How would you arrest delay of the project? As I mentioned, you need at the onset of the project, you lay down your terms, no? Kick-off meeting kayo, lay down your terms as a consultant, lay down your terms as a contractor, no? Understand the terms and conditions of your signed contract agreement. Understood your obligation as a contractor. Understood your obligation as a project proponent. You pay the contractor time, di ba? Ikaw naman contractor, you need to supply your project with enough resources as per the terms and condition of the contract. And what are the enough resources? Your time, your manpower, your materials, your tools and equipment, and all other incidentals. Dapat anticipate mo yan, no? Contractor ka. In terms of cost, may it be cost overrun or lack of budget or no funding at all or no funding, lack of funding. So, experience na experience, di ba? Lack of funding, yung contractor di na kaya, wala na siyang pera. Okay? So, that's a risk. So, how do we mitigate such, di ba? Then, in terms of your contract agreement, in terms of your procurement, mababa. Yung contractor, mahina what? Umorder ng materials, laging delay. Kailangan na sa project, no? So, yun, no? So, all of this, sinasabi natin, all of this, tandaan ninyo, as project managers, gagawan nyo sila ng procedure, project systems and procedures. Alright? Kung yan ay may project systems and procedures because we already identified the risk, di ba? Na-identify na natin yung risk eh. So, may control procedure ba? Yes, may control procedure. Wala bang control procedure? Yes, wala. So, we will have to make a control procedure na pag dumating yung risk na yan, ito ang gagawin natin. Alright? Bakit delay ang order ng contractor ng materials? Baka naman yung project manager ng contractor just in time ang concept niya. No? Kung kailan niya kailangan, sa kanya bibilhin para bang umorder sa Jollibee. Kung wala yung materials na yon during his order, alam mo, umorder siya ngayon ng bakal kasi gusto niya just in time. Walang bakal pala na available o nagsimula yung project niya. No? Yung construction activity. So delay, no? So you need as project manager yung foresight mo, yung competence mo in terms of risk management and integrating risk with this project management function or knowledge areas is 100% excellent. Diba? So, in the absence of that, yan ang nangyayari sa project natin sa ngayon. Human resources, kulang sa tao, lagi yung sinasabi. Kasi kulang sa tao, di ba? Kulang ng skilled workers. So why not what? Make a systems and procedures of human resource. How will you do it? Assign or require the contractor, or if sa contractor perspective, if I am the contractor, I will assign a human resource person at the project and continuously hire people, no? Hire people, continuously hire people and train people in terms of their skills, technical skills, right? So, maaari negotiate. Makipag tie up ka with TESDA. Pwede naman yan eh. It's a strategy. O TESDA, I'm contractor number one, I'm contractor ABC, and I'm going to tie up with you to provide technical skills training on my project, no? Gustong-gusto ni TESDA yon, di ba? So sabi ni TESDA, sige, kailangan muna dyan na magtatag or you need to establish a training center. Okay? Kasi pag may training center ka, I will provide resource, speaker, training, and etc. etc. Or sabi ni TESDA, sige, provide me a number of manpower and dalhin mo sa Cavite kasi may trainings, technical training sila doon. Iti-train natin in terms of painting, in terms of welding, in terms of masonry. O, ganun yun. So, the question now is, has your contractor ba, subcontractors, has that initiative? Ay, wala sir. Nako po. So, how is it? So, yan yung isang strategy na gagawin ninyo. And you can do it the same as what I'm saying, right? Kasi that's one strategy in terms of human resource. Mm. In terms of information and communication. So, very easy. Um, the communication will pass through from the contractor, will pass through the consultant, the construction management CMPM consultant. Then the CMPM consultant will drive it to the to the owner, to the proponent. For design naman, no? Maaring shortcut, pwede na sa CMPM, hindi na padadaan sa proponent. The CMPM will just make a report to the proponent. See? So it's a matter of cutting time or going lean, no? Lean naman yan. Lean methodology, lean construction. Because you limit the process, but the same effect, the output, no? So lean methodology, all right? So there are a lot of possibilities, as a project manager that you can create in a project, identify the issues and concerns, and create project systems and procedures, holistic. So what will happen if you have project systems and procedures? No? Kahit mawala man yung project manager, kahit mawala man yung project engineer in charge, merong project systems and procedures na tutulong, no? Tutulong sa project, and the project will go smoothly kasi mayroong prosesong sinusundan. Okay? Now, as project managers and project engineers naman, or architects at that, all right, master project systems and procedures. Yan ang imamaster nyo kasi it's just like running your own business, right? Running your own business that you know your business process in mind, but you are what? Going into narrative, ginawa mong narrative, all right? Or documentations. Since you are quality management system, that is a requirement. And apparently, of course, that is good to your business as a guide. You can check for continuous improvement, right? So that's part of quality management system, continuous improvement. Once you created your systems and procedures, always remember that it is still subject for continuous improvement. Kaizen, sabi ng Hapon. Why? Kasi siyempre, you need some of the process to be reviewed, revised effectively and efficiently. All right? Some of the na hindi na or going lean. Ito, mahaba itong proseso na to, pero shortcut na lang natin. We're going lean. We can cut off 1 day, no? Instead of going into the detailed process. That's what we call continuous improvement. And continuous improvement doesn't stop there. Still continuous improvement. All right? Because what? We are a business. We are an agency. We are running our own project. Okay. It will stop if the project is already completed. Okay. But of course, you have your lesson learned, para an experience, no, experience wise, so that you can use it on the next project. Of course, the strategy you can use. That's why you need to update your what? Your issues and concern log, your lesson learned log, your assumption log. You need to update all of that as a result. And that will form part of your, what you call, project management plan or your project management execution plan. Okay. So come up with the fundamentals of risk management. So according to PMBOK, risk management or project risk management is just the process of identifying. First step is identifying. Second step is analyzing. Third is prioritizing and responding to risk or uncertainty throughout the life of the project, or until, no, the project was accepted by the proponent. Of course, until the what called construction warranty. Andun pa kasi tayo eh. Di ba? As project managers, hanggang construction warranty tayo. So merong risk yan. Let's say, for example, construction warranty na, maraming mga, no, uh, rectifications na gagawin. So it's still part of the project manager scope, no? What? In the best interest of what? Meeting the project objectives. And what is the project objectives? Of course, timely completion, and after the warranty, customer satisfaction or customer delight. Kasi may mag-a-accept na product and services natin. So the concept or the idea of accepting it, dapat yung satisfaction or yung delight ng customer should be there. What if the customer is delighted? So business is sustainable kasi i-refer ka niya, okay si contractor 1, oh, he's very good, no? He delivers the project on time, and until construction warranty, no, there's probability of defects zero, correct? So anong gagawin? So it's a word of mouth. Okay, I will recommend contractor 1 to my friend, to the other agency, to the other developer. Now, project risk management is agile or proactive. Proactive. Dapat proactive ka. In order for you to be classified as incompetent, or you're competent in risk management, you should be proactive. Proactive, not the traditional one. Now you are just waiting and reactive ka naman. No, don't be. No. As a project manager, the term reactive is a no. No? Project 4.0, project management or project manager should be proactive. So who among you are proactive? Maybe all of you are proactive. Okay? Yes, sir. Lahat kami. Oh, I am proactive. Sabihin mo, di ba? So this is a clear guide, no, as per PEMBO, of the risk management process or the risk management of process overview. Okay? So first, we need to conduct risk management planning. So in the conduct of risk management planning, these are there, according to PMBOK, you have the inputs. You have your tools and techniques and outputs. So usually the inputs, tools and techniques, outputs, if you are practicing or preparing you're ongoing your master's or your doctorate, this is lagi nyo itong nakikita because this is part of your research, no? The inputs, the process or the tools and techniques, and the outputs. Okay, so project management or PMBOK guide has this, no? The inputs in in planning risk management is what? The project management plan. Of course, meron ka ng project management plan kasi nasa risk management ka na, or your execution plan, diba? Then of course, your project charter. The charter indicates who are the project managers, when to start the project, whether it's a scope, cost, no, the triple constraints are stated there, especially what are the deliverables of the project. Okay, who are the stakeholders, the project charter, and when to start the project and when to. Okay, stakeholder register are just the register of your stakeholder in your project, who are the ones na pumupunta sa project mo, aside from your of course, the owner, the proponent, no, the project development people, the construction people from your proponent, the office of the building official from the external, other stakeholders, the consultants, the design consultants, the structural consultants, no? So you have that risk register. And again, in your stakeholder, you have to identify sino sa mga stakeholder mo ang lagi may komentar, no? Let's say, for example, if this person nasa site, lagi may comment yan, check mo yan. Ito, okay lang, kulang yan. Itong isa, ito, mareklamo to. So, lagay mo, check mo yan. So, that's what we call stakeholder register or stakeholder plan. Diba? Ma-identify mo. Your team will be ready. Kasi announce naman ang pag-site visit nila. Or if non-announce, you always have na pag itong tao, meron kang what's your strategy as a project team or as a project manager. That, diba? Then enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets. Organizational process assets are your plans and specifications, your manuals, if quality management systems, and all the other. Then enterprise environmental factors, no? What will be in terms of environment, then environmental factors, what are your, let's say, yung ano mo, the DO13 that you need to comply with, no? So yan yung ano mo, mga documents or inputs that you need to. Then you need to process that, of course. Yun yung tools and techniques, di ba? Tools and techniques. So paano mo ang gagamitin mo? You need to be analytical techniques. So this will be based from your experience, no? Very analytical. So you have the documents already. So then expert judgment. Again, expert judgment is very you must be objective. Hindi ka pwedeng subjective dito kasi pag subjective ka, unfair ka, no? Kasi may pinapaboran ka. So objective lang because of based from experience, and after which you conduct meetings, a lot of meetings. What you'll do then, what will be the output? Of course, you create your risk management plan. Diba? Risk management, you identify the risk, you analyze the risk, response planning or strategy, response implementation, and monitoring the risk. So that is what we call uh, getting your or having your risk management plan. So in identifying risk, kasi meron ka ng risk management plan, di ba? But of course, in order to achieve that, you need to have what? You need to identify the risk. Okay, so ano natin, i-explain natin one by one mamaya. So identify the risk, then perform here, as I mentioned, perform quantitative risk analysis. Quantitative, from the word quantitative, so numerical. Perform qualitative risk analysis, So qualitative and quantitative. So when we say qualitative, more of narrative, then procedural, then quantitative risk analysis, or more of a number, and then perform your risk responses. So what will be your risk response? You will accept the risk, you will deny the risk, you will stop, etc. And what? And of course, you execute or you control the risk. Okay. So that's it, no? Let's go to module 2. All right, I'll stop this. So far, do you have any questions? Mabilis ba tayo? Or mabagal ba tayo? Or what? Do you have any questions?
Sino? Ano ba?
Okay, so wala.
Ano daw? President Roa. Iba
Oh,
kasi yung President Roa.
oh.
Dating
No, keep no, keep your what do you call this? Sandali. Where
Hi,
is
Sir, Sir Jackson.
yes,
Can
ma'am?
I
Go ahead.
interrupt a little po, sir?
Sure,
I would like to
kahit malaki
acknowledge
po.
lang po.
Sige,
Yes.
ma'am.
I would like to acknowledge lang po, sir, a representative from PRC po for Civil Engineer. Let's all welcome po Engineer Flores. Good morning, ma'am.
All right. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning po, ma'am.
Morning, engineer. Good morning po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
We can proceed na po, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Sir.
So let's proceed with the first topic, no, or first process of risk management, which is risk identification. So the objective, no, of this is, of course, from the term alone, we need to identify the risks in achieving our objective outcomes. Always refer to the project. Then identify or categories of risk, and the selection of methods, no, to identify the risk. Okay. So as I mentioned, this is a clear picture coming from the PMBOK guide of 6, no, of the Project Management Institute, or as our reference. So as I mentioned, we always, or PMBOK always utilize the inputs, the tools and technique, or the process and the outputs strategy, or the IPO or the ITTO, no, in PMBOK. So as an input, when you identify the risk, of course, as I mentioned, we already have created a project management plan, right? So in the project management plan or your execution plan, you have already your requirements management plan, your schedule, no, of course, very important, your cost, your quality in terms of quality management system, your resources, or your human resource management, no, or your material resource, or any other, or equipment resource, no, your risk, and your scope baseline, no, in terms of your deliverable, and your schedule baseline, or how to deliver in terms of your time in terms of your no, as per the scope defined, and of course the cost baseline, which is based from your cost management plan, no, the budget. So number 2 is you have again the project documents, no. Maybe some of you are familiar of this, the assumption lag. When at the onset of the project, what are your assumption in getting your budget? What are your assumption in conducting your scope management plan? No, you have your cost estimates or your budget, no, duration estimates, no, issue log, issues and concerns log, the lesson learned register, the requirements documentation, the resource requirement, and of course the stakeholder register as part of your input. Then of course consider also your contract agreements, your NTP, your purchase order, and all the other documents related to your procurement process. Yeah, and that we called what we called procurement documentation. Then enterprise environmental factors and OPE, or organizational process assets. Then all of this, you have all the documents, you have the inputs, then identify the tools and techniques. Use the tools and techniques. Use your meetings, your interpersonal and team skills. You facilitate, you conduct roundtable discussions. Then in analyzing the data, you conduct your root cause analysis, RCA, assumption and constraint analysis, your SWOT, no, analysis, a strategic approach for your project in identifying risk, di ba? Your document analysis. So all of this will result to the risk register. Okay, mamaya we will have samples of it, how to have to conduct or to formulate a risk register, then your risk report, and you need to update also your assumption log, no? Baka may nagbago. Then your issues and concerns log, baka meron bago. You need to update that, and of course your lesson learned register as part of your output in identifying risk. Right? So dito pa lang sa project management plan, you can already identify what are the possible risks, no? So marami siya, no? In your project documents, what are possible risks that you will encounter again in your contract agreements, in your procurement process, and all the others, okay? So the effect is what? The output should be, we need to have already the identification of risk. Okay? So risk identification considers both individual project risk and sources of overall project risk. So participant, you, project managers, in risk identification activities, we include the following, no? Project not only for the project manager, project team dapat, no? And maybe you can assign a project risk specialist. So assign someone for that. Now, if you are a neophyte engineer on the project, do not no do I I recommend na kunin mo to kasi it's a very good competence as a project manager. Later on, you can use it, no? It's a very at this stage, no, in the construction industry, even in business, this is a business requirement already, no? So if you're competent na because of your experience, you are qualified, you are already a good project risk engineer or specialist, you can use it later on if you upgrade your let's say your competence, if you upgrade your professionalism, you can take certifications for this, you can update, no? Then, of course, subject matter expert, no, you can hire subject matter expert or SME from outside the project team, say consultants, no, who are qualified in helping you, in the risk management process. Then other project managers from other projects that you have that within your organizations, you can invite also operation managers, stakeholders at that, no, and risk management experts within the organization. So ito yung mga participants na but if you are, of course, a quality management system organization, you're all attuned to this. You are taught already by the consultant, you are qualified, and you can establish properly risk identification, right? Now, it is particularly important to involve project teams so they can develop and maintain a sense of ownership and responsibility. Now, this is a tip for all of you, no? Whenever you are in a project, make it your own, no? Make it your own. Ikaw may-ari niyan. Kasi if you don't have that mindset, pag may problema, baliwala, is may project manager yan, di ba? Now, the concept or the ideal, no? What I mentioned is Project 4.0 is you need your team to collaborate with each other. You need to help each other. Not the traditional. Na ito kay project manager to, ito kay quality manager to, no? Hindi. If you want to learn, no, as an individual, as a professional at that, in a project team, you need to immerse yourself. You need to involve yourself in the project team. Okay? Lalo na dun sa mga bata pa, bagong engineers natin, ha? Do not be so traditional, okay? If you want to learn something, immerse yourself to the project team. All right? So identifying risk is an iterative process. No, it's a continuing process since new individual project risks may emerge as the project progresses throughout the cycle of the project. No, until of course, the turnover and the warranty period of the project. Kasi hanggang warranty period, andun yung construction. Diba? If you are a project manager of the project, of course, you are still responsible under the warranty. Right? In the business perspective naman, if you are the project development managers of your organization, so until the warranty that you turn over into the buyer. So what you call, ayan ang tinatawag natin na developer's warranty hanggang doon. So it's a 1 year. 1 year naman yon. So there are risks. Usually ang risk then should be the comment or punch list na narereklamo ng mga owner during the acceptance of their unit, of their housing unit or their condominium unit. So there are a lot of punch list or issues or comments that will be given to the developer, usually handled by the property manager. Okay, so yun. Suggestion for identifying risk, data gathering techniques. So brainstorming, as I mentioned, you sit down with your team and you classify, all of those identified risk in your project. May it be, during the construction, may it be what? Political? May it be environment? May it be social? May it be technology, or legal compliance, or economic, see? So there are a lot, no, of classifications that you're going to, or you can use also your SWOT, as mentioned here, SWOT analysis, your opportunity and threats, your weakness, okay? Then what is S? Ano yung S? What is S? In SWOT? Anyone? Hello, andiyan pa ba kayo? Parang hindi ata ako
Strength,
narinig.
sir.
Oh, very good. Strength, no? So you're listening, huh? So strength, weaknesses. So strength and weaknesses are your internal, no? Internal to your organization. You need to identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. So you have been identify the strength of your organization. Yes, the strength of my organization. All of my project managers are undertaking project management professional certifications or training. So that's my strength. All of my project managers are master's degree in construction management and engineering management. Oh, that's the strength of your organization. All my not only my project managers. So the organization is a triple ISO certified organization in quality management, in construction management. So they have their quality management system, no, their environment, and then health safety management. So the example of your strength of the organization, your weakness. So the weakness would be the reverse, no. My engineers are newly graduate, wait pa lang, no. So weakness ba yan? You can identify it's up to you, no, to identify it's a weakness or not. So weakness will be lack of training in terms of project management. What else? Not only for project or organization, but by agency also, no? Yung other weakness, ano pa yung mga weakness na pwedeng mo identify in your organization. Okay, so lack of funding, no? Maybe, no? Lack of funding, no? Lack of budget. So what are the opportunities? Opportunities and threat. Opportunities and threat are external to your organization. So opportunities maybe opportunity may be technological advancement. There are a lot of technology offered, no, to my organization. So yan yung opportunity. And what else? There are a lot of business there are a lot of projects coming our way, maybe government or private sector. So mga ganon. Then and what are the threat? The threat should be competition. There are a lot of contractors along the way, no? A triple A, quadruple A. All right. So marami akong ano. What are the threats? Again, the threats again, external to your organization. So ano pa yung mga threat aside from competition? Threat should be what? Political, no? There is an ongoing not on the sa Philippines, there's ongoing conflict between this country and my country, or this as there is in not another is there is political issues that is affecting the business, the construction industry right now, and a lot more. So that's what we perform SWOT analysis, diba? Interview, you conduct interview with subject matter expert, no? Or your fellow project manager, the other projects, or yeah, you sit down and what are your risks in your project? Baka similar lang tayo. Okay? So you can do it, no? You can chat, you can call. There are a lot of mediums to be done. And of course, the Delphi technique. The Delphi technique is just like then a roundtable discussions, no, of inviting subject matter experts, no? Similar to interviewing. Okay, then that's it. Now, this is not limited to these four in data gathering techniques. No, you can in a research, you can also do a survey. No, you can pa-survey ka. Let's say you have 10 projects. Risk identification. So, what are you identified? Ikaw na magbigay sa kanila ang possible risk. You survey mo, no? Kasi, let's say for example, your project is all over the Philippines. You identified in North Luzon. O North Luzon muna ako. So, you distribute your survey data and, okay, you identified babalik sa yung result na. Then you quantify, you perform statistics and all the others analysis that you will do, okay, in terms of risk identification. All right? Or you can do PESTEL or PESTEL, no? na ano naman na data gathering technique. Maybe sinasabi ko nga kanina, political, environment, social, technological, right? Legal compliance, and etc. Diba? Pwedeng ganun naman. Or you can do your PEST, no? Depende sa gusto mo. Or any other data gathering techniques. Okay? Effective risk identification. So these are just some key points to remember for effective risk identification. So you need to allow sufficient time for engaging with stakeholders to identify potential risks and their sources. Okay? So you engage with stakeholders, no? Yan, sinasabi natin, you conduct interview or sit down, no? Or construct a clear cause and effect relationship for describing risk. All right? So these are the type of risk in construction. An example, no, construction related. So labor disputes, okay, labor productivity. Okay, labor productivity because why? Bakit yung productivity natin, standard productivity ito lang, but ito lang na puproduce? Bakit anong issue, anong risk dito? Tamad ba to? O ano ba? Now, you establish through continuous improvement, you establish productivity based on your project. Sa project level mo, you identify low, medium, and high productions. Pag low, medyo tamad. Pag medium, medyo masipag. Ito, masipag. So, you identify the productivity in terms of that. So, it depends on your how you conduct your strategy and how you conduct your productivity analysis, no? Different site conditions. So, what are the risks in different site conditions? Hilly, no? Ito mountainous area. Anong problem sa mountainous area? Ito flatland. Ito flatland and hilly combinations, no? Design changes. Usually this happens, no? There are a lot, no? Maybe in your project, or it's a fact. Not maybe, but it's a fact in your project right now. There are what? Design changes, design issues, no? Papalit-palit ng design si architect, si consultant na lumulobo na yung variation order to how much? To 100 million. So it's hurting the proponent, right? So if you are the contractor, okay sa'yo yan. But if you are a construction management CMPM consultant, you need to control that because it will hurt the proponent, right? Equipment failure. So pag nag-fail ang equipment, what you will do? What are your risk strategy in place? Let's say breakdown ng bulldozer, breakdown ng payloader. So wala lang, madidelay ka, di ba? Paano yan? So what we'll do? So as a contractor, you will have to create such risk management strategy pag nag-failure. Right? Not only that, in the design, na-mention na natin kanina, but incomplete design, no? Due to the absence of what? Plan review. Hindi kayo kasi nag-conduct ng plan review, kaya meron kayong incomplete design, defective design, errors and omissions, and inadequate specification. So, of course, ang sinasabi ko, the corrective action for that is conduct a plan review with your project team. Who are the project team? You define your project team, the project consultants, the proponents engineers, the CMPM engineers, the design consultants, no? Conduct a collaboration meeting or collaboration process or meeting that, and conduct a plan review. Plan review should be conducted until the construction drawings are refined. In what way? That during implementation, wala nang tanong, wala nang change order, because if may change order, that will, as I mentioned, that will hurt the proponent. Okay? Ano nang time natin? Do you have breaks or what? Cristel, do you have breaks?
Yes po, sir. 15 minutes break.
Okay. All right. Sige. Then comes political. So changes in laws and regulations. So think of it. Right now, there are, parang nabasa ko yata, there are, salary wage law na parang, approved already in Metro Manila. So what are the other laws? No? Let's say, for example, that will affect your construction activities or your project implementations. Right now, in the BIR, no, change in mga sales invoice, di ba? Nagrereklamo na yung mga contractors and consultants at that because of from what? From official receipt to sales invoice, no? There's a regulation right now coming from the BIR. Okay, requirements for permits. Now, you have to settle this with your office of the building official. Nag-start ka ng project, wala ka pang permit, you will be hauled on by the building officials. Let's see, di ba? Then, as a proponent or as a contractor, you need to sit down with the office of the building official and submit your requirements to secure building permit, to secure development permit, to secure environmental clearance certificate, to secure what and all the other permits of your project. Okay, so in the absence of that legal compliance, your project will be put on hold. Law and order. Okay, law and order in your barangay, you need to secure clearance from the barangay. Okay, that's the first you should need to do. Coordinate with the barangay officials and establish good communication with them so that during execution of your project there will be no issues and concerns related to the local regulations, to the local barangay regulations, diba? So that's part also, no, of your job as a project manager. Kaya nga, as a project manager, you have a clear anticipation of what really happens during project execution. So medyo hindi ganun kalapad or ganun ka yung scope mo. Hindi lang yan na tinawag kang project manager. All right? So there is a failure of project management if hindi holistic yung approach ng isang project manager to the project. Okay? Minsan, no? And there are, of course, hindi lang minsan, but there are a lot of risk that will happen that will jeopardize the project in terms of timely delivery and will hurt the, tandaan ninyo, ang timely delivery or the delay of the project will hurt has a business impact in terms of the proponent. Okay? Let's say, for example, if you are constructing a condominium unit, a building, you know what? There are a lot of buyers already for that. And the developer has committed to turn over that certain project to them, right? If the project is delayed, what will happen? The expectations of the owners, diba? There is a negative connotations as to the developer. So, yun yung business impact. So, hindi na word of mouth, hindi na tayo bibili dito kasi hindi naman hanggang ngayon, di pa na-deliver, di ba? So, take note of that. As a project manager, you are not only on the level of your technical expertise, but you know what? Project management deals also with business acumen. Your business mindset, the effect of your project if delayed to the business, yung impact niya. So that's also risk on top level. You should classify that, no? Top level risk, business impact, correct? You have also to do it sa analysis mo during your risk identification. Dapat hindi ka ma-delay. Okay? All right. Any questions or clarifications for that matter in terms of this? All right. Calling one, twice, thrice. All right. Thank you. So data gathering, again, as I mentioned, brainstorming. The group attempts to generate ideas or find solutions for specific problem by amassing ideas spontaneously without judgment. So, upo lang tayo. Sige, what's your opinion? What's your risk? What's the risk that comes to your mind? Hindi ko sabing, wag niyong sabing mali. Yeah. Lahat yan tama kasi nagbe-brainstorming pa lang kayo. So after which, you have 100, you classify that into different ways. May it be political, no, environmental, etc., etc. It should be relaxed, no, combines or relax. It should be informal approach, just to problem solving and continuous lateral thinking, right? It encourages smooth flow of ideas, no? People to come up with thoughts and ideas that can at first may it be crazy or not crazy, but no? Who knows, diba? And some of these ideas can be crafted into original creative solution to a problem, while other can spark even more ideas. So do not, if you perform brainstorming, do not judge, no, what will be the ideas of your team. So it is just relaxed, happy moments, but with business impact or project impact in terms of risk identification, of course. And the idea must be a smooth flow of ideas. So have you been performing brainstorming last week or last month with your project team? Yes, we have performed on that, sir. Okay, that's good, no? So it's a practice, no? You need to loosen your mind. You need to share your ideas. Okay, ideas as part of knowledge management should be shared with everyone in the project team. Okay, hindi lang wag mo itago, no? Because what? You are a team, of course. Project team yan eh. Right? So data gathering you can also use can be used also as a form of Delphi technique, no? To derive consensus among panel of experts who make predictions about future development. So data gathering, Delphi technique naman, you invite subject matter experts. So kanina, yung brainstorming kayo-kayo lang yon. But you can also have expert with that if kung may mga expert kayong kilala. But sa Delphi technique, it's a panel of experts who can make predictions about future developments. Who are those? Fellow project managers who have experience in similar projects. You invite design consultants, a subject matter expert. You invite people that you know or expert, no, in projects, project development, right? Provides independent and anonymous input regarding future events, uses repeated rounds of questioning and written responses, and avoids the biasing effects possible in oral methods. So invite those people, no? Experts yan. Yan yung pagkakaiba nila ng brainstorming. Kasi brainstorming kayo-kayo. You are not expert but you are not expert, or some of you are expert that you need ideas just to flow to your mind. But Delphi, it's a classification. It's a panel of experts, okay? So interviewing in the individual project risk can be identified by interviewing experienced project participants, stakeholders, and subject matter experts. So it's a Delphi technique, right? No? Interviewing people with similar project experience is an important tool for identifying potential risk, especially those projects na similar. Let's say, for example, if you have a project in Iloilo, in Metro Manila, in Cavite, Laguna, na similar projects, you can have a Zoom meeting or online meeting with your fellow project managers, no? And of course, discuss about what are the identified risks in your project. Kasi parehas lang naman tayo. Ito naman yung sa akin, ito naman yung sa akin. Then you can you can collate and have a list of identified risk, or conduct an environment or trust and confidentiality to encourage honest and unbiased contributions. Okay. So fact-finding technique for collecting information in face-to-face phone, email, or virtual discussion. Now, the question here is, have you had done this kind of risk identification lately in your organizations? Wala pa kami niyan, sir. No? Kasi sa amin, we already have the risk register. It's a standard format given by our office, and yeah, we will just classify it according to our needs. Meron na, no? Established na. But you know what? You can, if it's established na ang organization, you have that. But as a person, as an individual, as a project engineer or project manager who hasn't yet an experience for that, you can conduct your own. And of course, compare it to what you have in your organizations. Kung similar ba sila or may additional spot. Okay? That is what we call continuing learning process, or continuing learning process that will help you as a project manager, individual, to contribute to your own personal growth. Okay? Hindi lang yung kung ano yung, you always classify it. If you classify it within yourself, it will help you na just meron template or meron kang gagawa ka ng sarili mo, which more or less in variation or parehas, o hindi naman parehas, but you revise it according to the needs of your project. Okay. Ito yung binigay na template ng company mo, ng organization mo. Then, titingnan mo kung it fits to your project. Then, kung may kulang, you make dagdag, no? Dagdagan mo to fit your requirement as a project manager, correct? So, what we encourage here, what I mean is, I encourage you to be creative, no? To be creative according to the needs of your project also. Okay. A checklist, no, as a form of data gathering, it is just a list of items or points to be considered, often used as a reminder. And maybe some of you, especially on the quality assurance, the quality control checklist, you have that in your internal audit. You have your checklist at the onset of your project. You have the checklist in performing project management or construction management. In the quality plan, you have your checklist as well, diba? So develop based on historical information and knowledge that has been accumulated from similar projects and from other sources of information. So effective way to capture lesson learned from a similar completed project, listing specific individual project risks that have occurred previously and that may be relevant to this project. Now, again, the question is, have you have a checklist in your project? Ay, wala pa ako, sir. So if wala ka pa, that's the probability of having a risk, in your projects. Diba? Checklist. So wala ka checklist eh. So paano mo malalaman ngayon what happens to your project? All right? Then comes your nagiging ano ka na, hindi ka agile, hindi ka proactive pag wala kang checklist. You can be considered as reactive. When risk comes, saka mo i-assert yung solutions mo. So there are a lot na nangyari, no? There are a lot in terms of maybe your extra effort, your time, and your money as compared to you anticipated, di ba? So when you are anticipating less time, kasi meron ng established parameter on how to solve the situation, di ba? So yun ang pagkakaiba nila. You don't have that. Another one is very familiar na kayo dito with cost analysis, or the Ishikawa diagram, diba? So it is just an analytical technique used to determine the basic underlying reasons that causes or variance or defect or risk. You can use it, it's or fishbone diagram, for cost analysis. So what's the real problem here? Okay? So identified brainstorming kayo. Yun pala, ang real problem is walang pera. No money. At the end of the day, no funding. That's why na-delay yung project. Okay? So root cause may underlie more than one variance, defect, or risk, and may also be used as a technique for identifying root causes or problem and solving them. Okay? So we can have a detailed explanation also if we want to, for those who do not want, or for those who haven't yet experienced RCA, we can invite the subject matter expert to do it, in a detailed manner, So I have one friend who are expert in conducting, a root cause analysis. We can invite him in one of our sessions or lectures, to have this. But it depends on you, It's very easy naman na gagawin. Okay? Risk register. So this is the output of this lecture, di ba? Yung lecture natin na 2 araw, ito talaga yung output niya. All right? Risk register. It is just a list, a register, a framework, all right? A framework of all identified risks in the project. So it includes the information about each identified risk, all risks, identified. Then it has, of course, a list of identified risk. Then who will be the potential risk owners of this risk? You need to assign person for that, in your project. Project manager, ikaw in charge dito. I am the risk specialist. So project manager will be in charge in terms of, let's say, legal compliance. In terms of building permit risk or permit risk, not building permit, but all the permit risk associated with permit, si project manager. All right? All risks associated with cost will be the cost engineer. All risks associated with project delays, okay, will be the project manager. All risks associated with quality issues and concerns should be the quality resident quality engineer or resident quality manager, and all the other, right? So there will be an assigned person so that the approach is holistic and those responsible will be dealt accordingly, no? At the end of, not at the end, during the control process, siyempre magme-meeting kayo during the update process. Okay? So that's it, no? Stakeholder risk attitude, no? So risk appetite, of course, we will discuss the risk appetite, risk tolerance, and risk threshold. So when you speak of risk appetite, no, means that you are risk hunger. So according to the 6th edition of the PMBOK Guide, risk appetite is the degree of uncertainty an organization or individual is willing to accept in anticipation of a reward. So what is the risk appetite of your organization? Okay, so you need to have it identified within your organization. If some risk will be coming your way, will you accept it? No. So that's the appetite of your organization. Some organization might be willing to take high risk if the reward is high. Others may want to play safe or go conservative, no? So for me, let's say for example, as in your personal experience as an investor, try na ba kayo nag-invest kayo ng, let's say for example, you have that money, pumunta ka sa bangko, sabi ng bank manager sa iyo, sabi mo, sir, mag-invest ako sa this certain program ng bangko na may interest rate na ganito kalaki na in-offer sa iyo. But sabi niya, of course, no? Ano ba yung risk appetite mo? Are you willing to take high risk? High risk kasi ang reward nito is high, but ang negativity naman effect nito is high naman. No? So pwedeng yung pera mo, tataas yung interest niya, malaki, lalaki siya, or medyo bababa, depende sa fluctuations or sa market, no? Sa trend ng market, ng investment mo. So if you are risk appetite mo is high, sige, okay sa akin. Okay, invest natin dyan. So that's it, no? But if your risk appetite naman is, ito yung risk averse na sinasabi niya is low. Ay sir, hindi pwede. Ayaw ko ng mataas na reward. Dito na lang ako sa sigurado ako. Mas conservative sa low ako sa low. No? Maliit lang yung interest but sigurado hindi ako mababawasan diyan. No? So it's your appetite. So that's something like risk appetite. No? Okay? So there are organizations, especially that big organizations, no? In contract with, let's say, government or big organizations, di ba? During the bidding process, doon mo masasabi yung risk appetite mo, yung hunger ng mga owner or entrepreneur or business owner for that matter. During the bidding process, may nagda-dive, di ba? So risk taker sila. Yung appetite nila is so high that even if malulugi sila, sige, kukunin ko yung project. Di ba? So that's risk appetite. Meron naman, sabi nila, if within my range, conservative I play business, sabi niya. My organization is doing business. If that's high risk, ay hindi na ako magda-dive. Talo na ako, okay lang sa akin, di ba? At least wala akong, nasabi ko, wala akong lugi. So it depends on the organization's risk hunger. So gaano ba, no? So it's a top level decision. It's a top level decision that will be coming from your top management or coming from your boss. Okay. Risk tolerance. According to the 6th edition of PMBOK Guide, risk tolerance is the specified range of acceptable results. So may range siya. No? So sometimes there are organizations na naglalagay ng range naman. Let's say, for example, sabi niya, if 0, during the bidding process again, if 0 to this, okay, wala, wag tayo dyan. If 50% to 80%, no, of our, profit margin, sige, ano tayo, kunin natin, di ba? So pagpapasok doon, within that range, during the bidding process, dahil may specified range sila. So, and they'll get the project, no? Kasi according to their risk tolerance. Okay? So there are many factors which affect the risk tolerance, like project is critical, customer satisfaction, impact of risk on the profitability of the organization. O sa project level naman in your risk during inspection, di ba? So you need to establish a specified range of acceptable PANS-listed defects. Yun ang sinasabi natin. So do you have that? Let's say, for example, you turn over a project. Mayroon kayong project ngayon na tina-turn over. So you have that sinasabi na guide for tolerance, which is acceptable by the developer. Kasi of course, it's their unit, no, na ibibigay nila sa owner. So let's say, for example, what's the clearance of door to the floor? Yung clearance na dapat lang. It should be 10 mm ba? 5 mm. So if it's say 6 mm, no, or 6 mm, sa acceptable ba? Okay. So it depends on the tolerance, no? So ito naman yung sinasabag nating quality tolerance. But of course, there's risks for that. Kasi kung hindi mo na-deliver yan, that would be rectified by the contractor and so costly, no, on the part of the contractor. So as a contractor, you need to have a clear guide of the quality tolerance by the developer or by the owner, no, as part of the risk management process. So do you have that? Let's say, for example, aluminum window frame should have dapat hindi pumapasok yung leak, no? Walang leak. So it will be tested, di ba? Alright? So pag hindi yan pinapapasok ng leak yan, it won't be accepted. Alright? Alright? So yan yung mga quality or risk tolerance na we need to consider. And there are a lot for it. So as a project manager or engineer, quality engineer or quality architect, we need to consider all of it. No? Especially those projects na during the turnover process kasi you are delivering customer delight to the proponent or to the owner or customer satisfaction. The level is now delight, no? Customer satisfaction according to quality gurus. Hanggang 90 quality satisfaction yan. But now, we need to have updated quality delight, no? It should be delight. Mas higher ang delight kaysa customer satisfaction. Okay? Now, there are a lot of strategy naman na gagawin nyo, no? That's why some of your, based from your experience, some of your quality management system na specify in your process may be or is the 0 punch list at first inspection, right? Because you wanted it to be like, you wanted it to be as your strategy in delivering quality outputs to your proponent, right? So how many contractors do you have? Or as a contractor right now here listening, are you encouraging your people or do you have a systems and procedures in place for 0 punch lists at first inspection? If not, it's time to have a checklist, diba? If you are a consultant or a CMPM, you need to have a systems and procedure for 0 punch list at first inspection. And you need to deliver that as a deliverable of the contractor as part of their scope, diba? During the onset of the meeting, during your kick-off meeting. Have you done that? All right. So there are a lot of things to do in order to satisfy your client or to delight your client. And it's a matter of maybe experience, seminar trainings, no, on how you will deliver quality services or products to your proponent or to your client, right? And that is part of course, risk management in terms of the tolerances. Kasi dyan kayo in your experience siguro, dyan kayo magdidebate ng kontraktor. Eh hindi mo naman, kaya kung ako yung kontraktor, eh, hindi mo naman, wala naman tayong checklist. You know what? It will be hard for the contractor to follow you. Kasi you don't have an established quality or risk or quality tolerance, right? And on the part of the contractor, ano yan eh, kalulugi nila yan. Kasi, you know what? Wala na silang masisingil doon. They're doing punch list. Imagine if you have 100 people doing punch list in a month, in a week, 100 people for that, say big projects. Hindi mo na masisingil yon kasi nasingil mo na. That's why as a contractor, it's a cost saving measures or mechanism also. No? The zero punch list at first inspection, on the contractor's perspective, is a cost saving mechanism. Ha? Tandaan natin yan as a contractor. Cost saving mechanism yan. Kasi hindi ka na uulit eh. But on the part of the CM, PM consultants, it's a strategy that will help the contractor save their money. And you need to emphasize that at the kick-off meeting, at the coordination meeting, or any meeting at that relevant sa presence ng kontratista, right? And that is, you know what, helping each other. A win-win situation between the CMPM and the contractor. And that's what you are going to do as project manager. No, the traditional set, the traditional mindset is minsan ang contractor parang iba ang tingin nila pag mayroong third party construction management, no? Parang hostile. But then again, for us right now, it can't be. It's a project team. You need to develop a holistic relationship with your contractors and the CMPM, of course, and the, of course, owner representative or the CM, the proponent side. So it's a project team kasi yan. In the perspective of the business owner ng isang organization, ng let's say a developer, you are all a project team. Kayo yan. You are executing my project. I'm paying all of you. You execute it according to my plan, according to what is your deliverable. So yun yung perspective nila ng ng isang negosyante. So lahat yan. So as a project team, magtulungan kayo. And it's just a matter of communications and understanding each other. What's the process? What's the objective of this process? What's the output of this process that will help the project and the organization as a whole? Tama? Now, if you establish zero punches at first inspection, who's sikat? Diba? Si contractor ang sikat niyan kasi siya ang nakikita ng mga stakeholders na gumagawa niyan. Kay yan na project, kay contractor 1. Di ba? Oh, perfect. Ganda ng quality. See? On the perspective ng mga buyer, si developer naman. Di ba? But who knows? Ang nag-guide sa kanila is the CMPM consultants. But hindi yan na-recognize. But that will be recognized by, of course, the developer. No? As a matter of a process. Okay, so bibigyan yung CMPM ng another project because we're good at it. We're implementing very good project systems and procedure. I'll give you another project. Okay, so that's the result. Business continuity. On the contractor naman, okay, you very good. Ikaw naman, kasama kayo. Kaso kayo talaga magkasama. Kayo talagang teammate. Diba? Parang kayo, pinagbiak na bunga, no? So magkasama kayo. Kayo ulit dyan. So mga ganun ba? So it's a sustainability of the business. Correct? Do you agree or not agree? So there's, sige, magsalita kayo kasi baka na inip na kayo. But you listen, huh? Listen, there are a lot to learn, no? Risk threshold is an amount of risk that an organization or individual is willing to accept, no? So it's just similar to the other, no? But the threshold, let's say, for example, this, according to the 6th edition of the PMBOK Guide, the risk threshold is the level of exposure above which risks are addressed and below which risks may be accepted. So it's just like, you have limits in risk tolerance, but in risk threshold, you have a clear figure. So limits, no? Tanda natin pag risk tolerance, meron limits. Ito lang yung limit ko. No, marami siya 1 to 25, 26 to 50, blah blah blah. Yun yung limit. But in risk tolerance, meron kang specific figure. Let's say, for example, ang kaya ko lang dyan is 10,000. Yan yung threshold ko. Pag yung